game is the bane of my existence. I'll never escape it. There's so much that sucks about this game. Every level, every character, every plot element that if I keep going at this rate, I'll never finish it.
Indeed, which is why I've just created my greatest invention to help you. It's called a time compressor. It compacts time as the world perceives it into an incredibly condensed period.
Wow, a time compressor. It kinda looks like an Xbox remote.
It's a time compressor!
Okay, so last time our heroes had split up to save their home bases from being destroyed because the evil sorceress had just taken over Galbadia and ordered nuclear missile strikes. Selphie's group managed to save their garden by reprogramming the missiles to detonate harmlessly in civilian areas, but Squall's group arrives to find his garden already embroiled in some kind of civil war. Now the students are divided into two factions, one supporting Headmaster Sid and the other supporting some guy, Garden Master Norg. Who's Norg? Well, apparently he's the guy who funded the whole Garden and Seed Special Forces thing. And when Irvin screwed the pooch assassinating the sorceress, well, Norg just lost his fudge and decided to burn everyone involved, including Sid. So you run around the garden for a while looking for Sid, fighting Norg's people who are also looking for Sid. And in all this time, nobody thinks to look in his fucking office! But anyway, I told you who Norg is, but I didn't really tell you who Norg is. My description seems oddly inadequate when you realize that Norg happens to be this 3,000-pound walking goiter in a muumuu who sits around in the basement in the Night Owl's flying ship Archie. Is there really any point in trying to explain who the fuck this guy is, or what he is? He looks like a lump of sentient cholesterol. His chin is 3 times bigger than his head. Jabba the Hutt would tell this guy to lay off the Cheetos. He's so fat even his name is overweight and can only be spelled in capital letters. And Norg sounds like something Pinky the Rat would say. Norg! He can't even move, I bet. Can you imagine what the inside of that ship smells like? Probably like sauerkraut and ass. Norg the Fat demands more pies! Sid says he feels betrayed and wishes he could go back in time so that he never accepted Norg's money in the first place.
Oh, come on, who wouldn't trust a screaming 2-ton pile of butter with 6-foot-long finger claws and neck flaps you could lose a battleship in? I mean, you could have suckered anybody. Oh, but I forgot to mention how they evade the nuclear missiles. The garden can fly. Yeah, didn't call that one, did you? Like, how? Why? Oh, I see. It's because it has a giant spinny thing. That's how it can fly. Now it all makes total sense. It doesn't make sense. I hate this fucking game. I hate this fucking game! Ah!
It turns out the flashbacks to Laguna are being caused by some woman named Elone, or Ellen, who has the power to telepathically send people into the past, into the minds of people she knew. Of course, how or why she has this power is never explained or even asked about, and that's an awfully big plot hole, even considering everything else that doesn't make sense, because this power is the axis around which this entire story turns. But I'm getting a little ahead of myself. Even when you find Elone and ask her why the hell we need to suffer through all of these Laguna flashbacks, she never really comes up with a satisfactory answer. At some point later on, she says she wanted to try to change the past so that Laguna and her mother would end up happy together. A mission that would have had a much better chance at succeeding, by the way, if she just approached Squall and the others from the beginning and explained what in the hell they were supposed to do, instead of confusing and scaring the shit out of them with all this time travel bullshit against their will, knowledge, or consent!
Worse, she says she knows that changing the past is basically impossible because of time paradoxes and science and whatever, but she tried anyway because why not? So this entire exercise, this whole time, was completely pointless, and even the game admits it. This whole Laguna thing, from the beginning, was just jerking us around.
You spend most of the game looking for Elone. You shouldn't have to look for her, but some assholes pull their boat alongside the garden and demand that you hand her over, so our brave heroes just do it immediately without a fight or even comment. It's total bullshit, and sure enough, it turns out to be a really bad move because, as I said, she turns out to be the one person critical to the sorceress's evil plan, and she's been searching for this whole game. Let's not even bother asking why the fuck she's wandering around a secure military installation all this time, or how she's gone undetected up till now. But before we can go look for her, we need to do an Irish jig? What? So they all decide to attack Galbadia's garden and wipe out the sorceress like they should have done before. The one flaw in this plan is that Galbadia's garden and soldiers don't suck. Hey, why don't we have jet-powered motorcycles and flying mechs and stuff? But anyway, you reach the command center and beat Cypher up, again. Well, actually, I kind of spent about 20 minutes just toying with him and drawing aura spells, because aura is the most awesome spell in the game. Why? Well, because it lets you do limit breaks anytime, and once you get Squall's best weapon, his limit break kills pretty much everything instantly. So you beat up the sorceress, but that's not the end. Believe me, it's not even the end of Disc 2. It turns out Sorceress Adia wasn't really a bad guy. She was just possessed by another sorceress from the future named Ultimecia. Why? So Ultimecia could find Elone. Why? So Ultimecia could use Elone to go further into the past, into the mind of another sorceress. Now, this will have the unfortunate side effect of collapsing the space-time continuum, compressing time to a singular point, and exterminating all life in the galaxy.
Well, why in the hell does she want to do that? Okay, she doesn't want to rule the world, she doesn't want to change the future, no, she just wants to fuck up everything and end all existence, but is there a reason she wants to do any of this? I'm sorry, but for a game that people put forward as one of the best and most classic examples of epic RPG plots, this is some seriously lazy storytelling. I guess I just need a little more to a villain's motivation than, oh, she's evil. You can't just tell me she's evil and use that as some blanket excuse. I mean, let's face it, this is a long way for her to go. There are easier ways to destroy the world. She's the most powerful sorceress in existence. And I guess I just don't see the purpose of destroying time. What are you doing? You're killing everyone who's already dead?
And here I thought Final Fantasy I had the most rock-stupid time travel storyline I'd ever heard. At least in that game, Garland had a motivation. He wanted to live forever. Okay, it was lame, and it didn't make much sense when you got right down to it, but come on, at least it was out there. This, I just don't get it. I mean, why does Ultimecia bother doing all this stuff? We're given absolutely no motivation for her. I would have taken raging PMS as an excuse, but we just get nothing. Well, maybe another Laguna flashback will help clear it up. Oh, this is a classic scene. He's a movie star in a fantasy movie now, but uh-oh, that's not a fake dragon he's fighting. That's a real dragon. I think the joke's on poor Laguna.
Remember when that happened to Christian Bale and Matthew McConaughey when they were shooting Reign of Fire? Now, man, that was classic. I hate this fucking game. I really do.
Okay, fair warning. From here, things get stupid. Just think about that for a second. Okay, the heroes all begin to realize they share a common history when they find an abandoned orphanage, and suddenly realize they all remember living there, but they don't really remember specifics. Yeah, that's right, they all grew up together, but conveniently, they all have near total amnesia about the whole thing. Well, except Irvin, who remembers everything, but despite this, decides never to bring any of it up until directly questioned about it. He also fails to mention that the lady who raised all of them was the sorceress!
Oh, really? He never thought that little factoid was worth comment. The fact that he might feel a little conflicted shooting the woman who raised them in the face!
So, why do none of them remember their childhoods? Some of them speculate it's because the GFs they've been summoning progressively erase their memories, but Quistis resists that idea, saying, no, that's just a rumor that GF critics are spreading.
GF critics? Really, there are GF critics. Are we talking like talk show radio hosts or opinion pieces on 60 Minutes? This fascinates me, but what interests me more is how these supposed GF critics are more interested in the potential psychological effects of summoning GFs rather than the implication of giving teenagers the power to summon the devil whenever they want.
Even though I beat Sorceress Adia in one hit, somehow Renoa took a shot and ends up in a coma. Squall, being the rock-stupid emo punktard that he is, decides the only way to save her is to find Elone, go back in time and save her, even though we've already established that changing the past is impossible! So, you go find the assholes who took her in the first place, only to be told that other assholes on another boat took her from them. These new assholes come from a place called F-Star. So you go there, climb inside the door from the Truman Show, and discover that they live in a technologically advanced utopia.
Yeah, you know, more advanced than the one with the flying cities and hoverboards.
And no, of course, she's not here either. The princess is in another castle, because this fucking clown fucking shot her into fucking outer space! And when I say clown, I mean it. Just look at this guy. This guy is Doc Odin, the country's minister of mad science, or whatever. Just look at him. Should I even bother? Seriously, what is that thing? It looks like he's wearing the Wheel of Fortune. It's not a collar, it's a fucking umbrella. Where would you even get this stuff?
How do you even make shit like this up? When you make this guy look like a legitimate scientist, you have got some serious fucking problems.
Hey, I'm completely legitimate. Look, I've even got a real stethoscope now and everything. Bah, I'll show you legitimate.
So off you go into outer space after Renoa. Nope, they don't have working radios in this world, but the space program is decades ahead of ours. Yes, this game is officially stupider than both Time Cop and Moonraker. Because once again our heroes are stupid, they leave Renoa completely unguarded, so she gets possessed by the sorceress Ultimecia, who goes spacewalking to free another evil sorceress trapped in an orbital cryo-prison. Meanwhile, fucking Cypher somehow manages to find and power up an ancient doomsday weapon called the Lunatic Pandora. Come on, why have we not just killed this clown the other 4 times we've kicked his ass? When Cypher turns the Lunatic Pandora on, it summons all the monsters who live on the moon. Oh, I forgot to mention, all the monsters in the world actually come from the moon. They just sort of jump off and land on the Earth. But the Pandora causes them all to mass together in the galaxy's most giantest whitehead zit ever, and when it blows, ew! Oh, that must be what it looks like when God fires a pimple off into the bathroom mirror. So yeah, this is what happens when you put Squall and Selphie in charge of humanity's last hope. Now there's another pissed-off ancient sorceress, the world is crawling with monsters from the moon, and Selphie is still out of her fucking mind! This is where the game finally reaches the critical mass of ass, because Squall decides to get into a spacesuit and go out and save Renoa, who's drifting out in space and running out of air. But I don't really think he thought this plan all the way through, because he jumped out of an escape pod headed to Earth, and now he has no way at all of getting back. But somehow, don't ask me how, they turn around and have the incredible good fortune to see an abandoned space warship called the Ragnarok that's gassed up, ready to go, still has oxygen, and best of all, is within spitting distance of their current predicament. I just can't believe how half-assed and slipshod this writing is. One minute they're dying of asphyxiation in deep space, and the next minute they look over and, hey, look, there's a spaceship that civilians can fly that can take us back to Earth, and it's within a half mile of the station that nobody's noticed until now. It's this kind of thing that was a running joke in The Hitchhiker's Guide to the fucking Galaxy. I mean, there's plot convenience, there's Deus Ex Machina, and then there's just pulling stuff right out of your ass.
That can't happen! You can't just go filling plot holes with bullshit! I've had acid flashbacks that had more narrative coherence than this, and... Oh no! No! Not the love theme! Skip it! Skip it! Time compression! Batteries!
This is probably the most iconic moment in the entire game, the song Eyes on Me, a song which I honestly just find unbearable. It's sappy, it's not very well translated, and the lyrics don't really apply to Squall and Renoa. It's way more appropriate for Laguna and Julia, whose romance never gets off the fucking ground! And just from a dramatic standpoint, this is the scene they chose to break out their huge sappy love theme, the scene where they just sort of sit around. You couldn't have them kiss or dance or do anything. It would have been much more dramatically effective during the full-motion video segments where Squall is doing something stupidly romantic and heroic.
I just don't get it. People love this song and they love this game because they feel the song gives the game some kind of resonant romantic feeling. The song won awards. Next to Kingdom Hearts, it's the best-selling video game theme ever. People tracked this down and imported CDs of this garbage. Remember when I mentioned people weeping at the scene of Aerith dying in Final Fantasy VII? That was nothing compared to Eyes on Me.
Darling, so there you are, with that look on your face, as if you never heard, as if you never done. Shall I be the one for you, who paints you so softly?
I'm gonna go out on a limb here. If you actually liked Eyes on Me, you are officially a complete pussy. No, if you were even able to sit through Eyes on Me, you're a pussy. You see this? These are your man cards, and these are your man cards listening to Eyes on Me. You're a pussy! And that's not a slam against women. You're a pussy. There's a difference. Women have more balls than you, and it's not because you like a love story. There are plenty of great love stories, but this? We're talking about Final Fantasy VIII here. We're talking about Squall and Rinoa, a whining, brooding jerk of a guy and a woman who lowered herself to sleeping with Cypher. You're rooting for a romance between Squall and Cypher's leftovers. Cypher's sloppy seconds. I'm gonna ruin this romance for you, know how? I want you to think about this every time you see Rinoa. Cypher's balls were slapping against that poo nightly. Oh yeah, she was swallowing the mayonnaise, gargling the chowder, and you know what? She loved it. Enjoy your love story.
Moving on. After getting Rinoa back, Squall immediately hands her over to some new assholes who think she's dangerous. Then he decides about 2 minutes later he wants her back, so you have to go get her. Then you meet Laguna, who's become president for life of Estar, and no, I don't know how or why this moron got elected to the highest office of the most technologically advanced country on the planet, and I'm so far beyond caring it's not even funny. But hey, maybe I'm wrong about this guy being an idiot. After all, he's got a plan to bring down Ultimecia and stop her from compressing time. That plan? To let her compress time! Yeah, since she lives in the future, the only way Laguna can see to kick her ass is to let her destroy all of time.
Does anyone have a different plan? Anyone? I mean, I don't mean to sound like a jerk here, but shooting alone in the back of the head seems like a much easier and more definite way of stopping all this time travel bullshit.
Even Laguna can't really believe you're going along with his plan. Okay, look, when the pivotal part of your plan to restore the space-time continuum is believing really hard in love and friendship, maybe we should come up with something a little more rational. So they basically feed Rinoa to Ultimecia, Elone does her thing, and the time compression begins. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, this is actually a pretty cool and unsettling sequence, and for once the level design actually shows some inspiration. You have to fight your way through a gauntlet of boss monsters to unlock your powers, which surprisingly I thought was pretty interesting and required strategy. But by the end, it's pretty disappointing. The game doesn't really exploit the concept of a skewed timescale or the mixing of past, present, and future. It really, at the end, it's just another level in a spooky castle. But hey, after 4 CDs of this nonsense, I was just anxious to see the mastermind behind this whole labyrinthine plot. The puppet master whose strings reach back through untold eons to manipulate entire nations to war. The all-powerful... Oh my god. Oh, really? So much for dignity. I don't know, I just think if I were the ultimate galaxy-destroying badass, I wouldn't shape my hair into giant steer horns.
Or maybe she's just taking a definite stand on the whole steers or queers issue.
Jeez, how does she even clear doorways? Just when you're trying not to laugh at the hair, she starts speaking in Mortal Kombatese, replacing all her C's with K's. This boss isn't actually all that hard, but you'll still die a lot because she's supremely fucking annoying. When she attacks, she chooses 3 members of your party at random, and since you'll only have 3 members equipped, odds are good you're gonna have a couple unequipped party members, and a 50-50 shot you won't have Squall, which is bullshit. What the hell are the other 3 characters doing while the sorceress is attacking us, playing with themselves? And you need at least Squall for this, because his Limit Break Lionheart is the only one worth a damn at this point in the game. Only problem is he only does Lionheart when he feels like it, which is, like, never. I guess it's really tiring to pull off or something. Everyone else will either be busy healing or drawing the Apocalypse spell, or, my favorite, casting Doom Train to nuke her defenses, because Doom Train is fucking awesome! Love this guy, he's like a satanic Thomas the Tank Engine. But really, this boss is only challenging because it tries to tie one arm behind your back by choosing your characters for you. And what does this game expect you to do anyway? Keep all 6 characters equipped at all times? That goes totally against the whole junction exchange system they established at the very beginning of the game. When you finally beat her, things get all trippy again because, well, let's face it, our plan of defeating the villain by letting her win was pretty fucking stupid. Yeah, things work out because of love, peace, friendship, the heart of the cards, you name it.
Or do they?
Hey, you know what this reminds me of? I am interfaced! Hey, let's see who gets this one. Oh god, no. No! I slept too long! No, wait, I got it. He's wandering the terrain of Testament. Truly, this is a fate worse than death. Look out for the Jawas!
So sorry to interrupt, everyone.
Well, can it wait? I'm almost finished with this game. I just have to cover the ending.
Oh yes, how very apropos. You finally finished the game that haunted your childhood, and now I finish this experiment permanently.
What the hell are you talking about?
Well, let's be honest with each other. You're dragging us both down with your lame puppet show review thing. Your camera's crapping out, and you still live with your parents and you're 28. I'm surprised you haven't killed yourself by now. Trust me, I'm doing you a favor, and besides, I've got a much more charismatic host all lined up.
But you can't kill me. You're me.
And I can't even begin to tell you how confusing that is when tax season rolls around. No, it's much simpler this way. Besides, I saved a load of money on this particular assassination. Ordinarily, I'd never be able to afford a mercenary like this, but when I mentioned your name, why, he said he'd do it for nothing.
Squall! But we hate Final Fantasy!
What is it about the name Dr. Insano that eludes you people? Honest to God, people are stupid! Look, it's nothing personal. You suck and you have to die. Call it squality control. I spent all day thinking of that one!
Ah, jeez. Ah! Ha-ha! I, don't suppose you'd rather just play triple triad cards, would you? Ah! Ah! Ooh! Hello? Yeah. Oh, hi! Yeah, just a second. It's for you. It's Renoa. I have had enough of you! Look, could you at least tell me what the gun part of the gunblade actually does? Oh!
Initiate countdown.
Well, is it done?
Initiate countdown.
Why in the hell did I give a walkie-talkie to a guy who talks in text boxes?
Initiate countdown.
A minute? Something's speaking in there. Let me hear it. Get out! Get out of there!
Never sang my songs on the stage on my own. We never said my words, wishing they would be hurt. I saw you smiling at me. Was it real or just my fantasy? You'd always be there in the corner of this tiny little bar. My last night here for you. Same old songs, just once more. My last night here with you. Maybe yes, maybe no. I kind of liked it your way, how you shyly placed your eyes on me. Did you ever know that I had mine on you? Darling, so there you are, with that look on your face, as if you never hurt, as if you never down. Shall I be the one for you, who paints you so softly but sure? If frown is shown, then I would know that you are no dreamer. So let me come to you, close as I wanna be, close enough for me to feel your heart beating fast, and savor as I whisper how I love you. Peaceful eyes on me. Did you ever know that I had mine on you? Darling, so share with me your love if you have it
What the hell is this?
Pollo, this lump of gray protoplasm is all that remains of the Spoony one.
What are you going to do with it?
What do you think I'm gonna do? I'm gonna bring him back to life.